All right, welcome everybody to a special honoring of September the 11th, 2001. I would like to start this video off by stating, first and foremost, what you are about to hear is not politically driven. It's not right nor left. It has nothing to do with race, religion, or any other BS that some may try to find. This is about a nation coming together to honor those who lost their lives on this terroristic attack. I do not, nor will I ever, support any hate or terrorist organization. We are Americans, and united we stand. September 11th, 2001 was a day that would be etched into the memories of people around the world for generations to come. It was a day of unimaginable horror, a devastating loss, and unprecedented tragedy. The day began like any other, with the sun rising over the bustling streets of New York City. But as the morning unfolded, a sense of unease settled over the city. Reports began to surface of a plane crashing into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11, a Boeing 767 aircraft, had slammed into the tower, sending flames and smoke billowing into the air. Panic set in as people scrambled to evacuate the building. 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., another plane, United Airlines Flight 175, crashed into the South Tower. The impact was catastrophic, causing massive damage and igniting a fire that would eventually bring down the tower. As the morning wore on, more devastating news emerged. American Airlines Flight 77 had crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia at 9:37 a.m. And United Airlines Flight 93 had gone down in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:07 a.m. The attacks on the World Trade Center were the most deadly, with both towers collapsing in late morning. The South Tower fell at 9:59 a.m., followed by the North Tower at 10:28 a.m. In total, nearly 3,000 people lost their lives on that fateful day, including 2,753 people who died in the World Trade Center. 343 firefighters and 71 law enforcement officers that ran toward danger and died as heroes. 184 people who died in the Pentagon, and 40 people who died in Pennsylvania on United Airlines Flight 93. Never forget the loss of our nation, the pain our neighbors, friends, and families took in on this day. Never forget. Where are you at?
I'm lost.
You're lost.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Oh, I didn't turn around.
Nice. I went out to the right and now I'm coming through.
Yeah, I just had to put a marker on the.
Yeah, I'm coming up back by the casino again.
Yeah, I'm a mile away. I was trying to keep up with you, but I couldn't find you.
Like I said, it's just a little memorial thing I wanted to do for the victims, the families, and everyone else for the September 11th, the attack. It's just one of those things. Every time I think about it, I know exactly where I was and what I was doing as soon as we found out. I was in my English class, and we went in, and the teacher said, everybody take a seat and be quiet, and that's what we ended up doing, and we had no clue what was going on, and we were watching it, and like me and a couple of my buddies were talking, about what we were seeing, and I asked him, I was like, is this like for real or like, you know? But it was everybody was scared. Um, like in the cafeteria that day at the high school, there was hardly any sounds. There was nothing back then. Um, Cell phones weren't readily available like they are now, so I mean you couldn't Google anything. You know, and just I mean no one knew what was going on. And at the time, my older brother was at the uh, MEPS training for the United States Navy. That morning, he went down to his training, and while this was going on, they had him doing his MEPS test. And when he came back, he's like, "Well, I'm probably going. We don't know where, we don't know when, but we're gonna go somewhere. Somebody's answering." Um, it was just fear, like. And Waylon, I know you weren't even born yet, so, and probably people watching this weren't born yet, but it was.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and I mean, I was out in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, you know, and it was crazy. I remember getting home and my mom walking through the door, and she just kind of broke down because we didn't know, you know, like what do you do? We'd never seen anything like that. You know, I remember I was watching TV, watching people jump because them jumping out of that building to their death on the ground was, in their opinion, more justified than going through whatever they were going through inside of that building. Um, you know, one of the things that every time I think about it, I remember this woman. She was wearing a black or a very dark blue skirt, probably down to her knees or so. And when she jumped out of the window, very high up, very high, when she jumped out of the tower to her death, she held her skirt, and she went with dignity. The older people, or you know, people watching this, they'll know what I'm trying to say, but like. How that whole thing happened, it was crazy because you got almost 3,000 people who lost their lives, and then on top of that you've got those people's families. I mean, there was a daycare in the buildings. Like it's such a tragic thing to even think about. And I know, you know, a lot of people may say, well, you know, what's something stupid or negative about doing this, but as an American, I think that it's a day that every one of us, if you're in this country, even if you're not, every one of us should look at how that happened and just, you know, like just take it in. Like, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. And when I was in school, I would have never thought that by my second period going into English class, they would turn on the TV and it would be every channel had it on. Radios didn't play songs. They all was reporting on it. We didn't have a clue. First initial reports were bombs went off in it, and that the United States was under attack from all four sides. There were so many news outlets just reporting what they were hearing or what they were told, and they weren't, you know. And I'm not blaming them or anything. I'm just saying what they were doing. Like, it was very hard for the first 2 or 3 days of that to actually know what the facts were. The fact is simple. Some people, hijacked airplanes and drove them or flew them into buildings. They flew them into the World Trade Centers in New York. They flew one into the Pentagon, and the people in Pennsylvania, in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, fought, and rather than allowing more people to die, sacrificed themselves to make sure that that plane never reached where it was going. I'll never forget it because everything stopped. Everything stopped. There was no airplanes in the sky. There was no, everything just stopped. And it's one of those feelings. I hope that we never have to go through anything like that again. But at the same time, it's one of those things that I hopefully learn from it. You know, it was handled, and however you think it was handled, or however I think it handled, is completely irrelevant to the situation. The situation is, on September 11th, 2001, some terrorists took some airplanes, doesn't matter who gave the orders, doesn't matter why, any of that, and fellow Americans, fellow humans died because there was a reason to hurt someone, and rather than hurt the people that was the cause of the pain and anguish that the terrorist organization was feeling, rather than hurt them, they went after defenseless people who were just trying to go to work and live their lives. And that's why we should have a memorial for them every September 11th. We can never forget it, because no matter what you see, what you think, or what you hear, if you are an American, that day is significant. And it changed the course and outcome of potentially the world. Because September 12th, 2001 was the craziest day I'd ever seen. Craziest day. I seen everyone in my high school, all of my teachers. I seen people at the store, everybody had a different look on them. Everybody was vigilant. Everybody was trying to figure out who was what. And for the first time that I could remember in my life, no one argued with anybody. I'm talking friends, family, neighbors, didn't matter. No one at school fought each other. Nobody argued. Nobody bitch, pissed, or moaned. For the first time, everybody's problem, everybody's idea was significantly smaller, and we weren't self-centered and thinking about ourselves so much. We were genuine for a little while. We've gotten off track, but for a little while after that happened, we actually cared for one another. Now, you know, where I live now, if I've got a flat tire on the side of the road, probably the only person going to pull up next to me and try to help is going to be a police officer, and that's only because I'm causing the delay on the interstate, you know. It wasn't that way after that attack happened. But anyway, I just wanted to do, you know, something. I didn't want to just talk into a blank screen, so we figured we'd get Grand Theft Auto fired up and just drive around the map a bunch. But it's a big day in American history, and if you're young and don't know it, don't know what happened or how it happened or why it happened, go ask your parents or Google it. You know, and if you do remember it, just today while you're watching this video, or you know, you get wind of it, just remember the significance of the day. A lot of people died that didn't have to. And if you were old enough to remember when it happened, get that sense of unity back. United we stand, divided we fall. September 12th, 2001 was the most united I had ever seen anything. The most, I mean, it didn't matter who you was, everybody was looking for the same thing. We were all looking for who did it, why they did it. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter about your color, your beliefs, any of that. None of that mattered. Everybody was ready to go to war. And that is what the American people and the people of the world really need to remember, is that when you band together and you have a common enemy or a common like, then nothing else matters. You can get through anything. I'll stop rambling there. Thank y'all for watching. Never forget, and we will see y'all in the next one.